is News 5 at 6.
It was a violent attack.
Now we know I was close to death.
But the man who strangled her received a slap on the wrist.
I can't wrap my head around that.
So why wasn't his punishment more serious?
It tells me that it hasn't been a priority.
How Ohio fails to protect us from some of the most dangerous criminals.
Tonight, 5 on Your Side investigator Sarah Buttison digs into Ohio's strangulation laws and the fight happening right now to change them.
On a summer night in 2006, along the Maumee River in East Toledo.
Were there red flags? Yes.
Paula Walters had no idea before it was over.
I remember thinking, I'm about to die.
Her life
I can't turn it off.
would never be the same.
I wake up every day and I'm different.
Or how hard it would be to hold the man responsible accountable.
And we still haven't gotten it right. What is wrong?
Paula and her boyfriend, Brian Jameson, met up with her colleagues at the docks in East Toledo.
He was a sweet guy.
He was also jealous. When they went back to his house, he accused her of cheating, hit her, kicked her,
And he was sitting across to my hips.
then strangled her.
I vividly remember him putting his hands around my throat as he looked at me and said, "I don't know if I should kiss you or kill you."
It's the last thing she remembers before waking up in the ER, alive, but her problems had just begun.
Sometimes when I'm trying to walk, it feels like the room is moving, the bruising and stuff.
Being strangled left Paula with a permanent brain injury.
I often feel, I say, drunk on a boat. That's how I explain it to my doctors.
Brian was charged with assault, but pled to a misdemeanor and got probation and a fine.
And I got a disability and a life sentence.
How could that happen? Strangulation is a felony in every single state, except South Carolina and Ohio.
It is critical to the residents of Ohio that your legislators understand the risks associated with strangulation.
You may recognize Dr. Bill Smock.
Their body is telling them to breathe, but they can't because of the pressure on
His
their airway.
expert testimony helped convict Derek Chauvin of George Floyd's murder.
Strangulation is extremely dangerous for several reasons.
The neck is delicate. It takes only 11 pounds of pressure to block blood flow to the brain, and the average woman's handshake is 60 to 80 pounds of pressure.
So, being strangled for just moments can permanently damage blood vessels, cartilage, vocal cords, and spinal cords. Seconds longer can lead to blood clots, strokes, and brain injuries. In less than a minute, you can end up dead.
It is so easy for one individual to put their hands or arms around another individual and render them unconscious, dead, or somewhere in between.
You have the option today to waive that hearing.
Strangulation is also common. Cuyahoga County Judge Sherry Madej helped start a special court docket made up of the most dangerous domestic violence offenders. So far, the majority are accused of strangulation.
Did that surprise you?
It didn't.
The docket's goal? To prevent murders, because being strangled makes a victim 750% more likely to be murdered, like Aisha Frazier. Years before her ex-husband killed her, records show he strangled her.
Strangulation is really the last warning shot before a homicide.
And we found stranglers don't only murder their intimate partners. They're tied to the murders of police officers and mass shootings. From the Pulse nightclub in Orlando to the First Baptist shooting in Texas to Dayton, the shooters are all accused or convicted stranglers.
You don't accidentally put your hands around someone's throat.
Remember Brian Jameson? More than a decade after he attacked Paula, records show he held a teenage girl at gunpoint and threatened to kill her.
Had we done my case right, he wouldn't have had that gun.
So why hasn't Ohio made strangulation a felony?
I don't know. I ask myself the same question.
State Senator Nikki Antonio is a co-sponsor of SB 90, the fourth proposal to change the law. It was first introduced in 2015, then 2017, again in 2019, and the fourth version in February.
So what we need to do with this is say this needs to take
a top priority.
After all, its only public opponent is the Office of the Ohio Public Defender, which opposes how the bill is written, not making the crime a felony. And it has support from police, prosecutors, and victims, including Paula,
Just more bruises.
who testified before lawmakers 2 years ago about how she still struggles.
Brain injury impacts my life every day.
A constant reminder of the night she lost so much.
This is happening to so many people.
And her attacker lost so little.
And we're missing it.
In Toledo, I'm 5 on Your Side investigator Sarah Buttison.